Okay, so we're back to to my PowerPoint. Okay, so again, I showed you all these different things on there: the syllabus, the PowerPoint presentation, the highly recommended review questions. Like I said, about 20 to 25% of your exams are going to be coming from these questions. Any announcements, i.e. emails that I send you, all my pre-recorded video lectures are going to be on there. All the lab material, the lab write-ups that you got to end up doing, or lab quizzes, that'll be on there. All the quizzes and exams, that'll be on there too. And like I said, the best place to get in contact with me is Canvas. Use that, all right? I wish I could highlight my voice, but yes, okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit, and then we'll get into a little bit more later on, but mastering biology, okay? That's where you're going to get all your online homework assignments. Remember, 25% of your course grade is going to be this Mastering Biology. So make sure you go to the Mastering Biology website, and you need to register online and try to do this today. Get all this inventory stuff out of the way today. You don't want to be dealing with this next week or when later on. Just knock it all in the right now, and just knock it out in left field so you don't have to worry about this stuff. Okay, you're going to need an access code. That comes when you purchased your textbook. Okay, it's like a card, I guess, or I think it's a scratch off on the front cover of the book. But yeah, if you didn't buy the book, you're going to have to buy the access code separately, especially if you wanted the e-text book and you want this. It does, I believe it costs more money to do it that way than to get the whole bundle. Not that I'm doing a sales pitch. In fact, I'm just doing the opposite. I'm telling you, the package deal is much cheaper. They made a deal with the college that the cost came down if you do everything together. Okay. So yeah, you need that access code to do that. You also need the course code. It's written in my syllabus, but it is this Gamaro, which is my last name, and then 46335. That's what they gave me. And then once you use that course code and your access code, you're able to go in there. And do make sure you use the email address that they ask you for. Use your Massasoit email address. All right. Don't use your personal email address like mamacita123@yahoo.com. Don't. I want you to be more professional with this stuff. So use your Massasoit email address. It's much easier, and then I could just follow with that email address to go with what goes on with my roster and stuff. Okay, so that's Mastering Biology. I'll get more into that in a little bit. The SymBio is this online internet system to do lab experiences. Okay, or lab experiments. Lab is a very challenged thing to do online. Lecture, I don't have much issue with. You just, I have them on videos, and I have lecture exams online. Maybe proctoring might be a little bit of a hassle, but pretty much I'm okay, and most teachers are okay with that. But online lab, giving you that lab experience online is a challenge for all of us, including you. So we're finding other avenues that will give you that lab experience. And SymBio is one that other teachers, Dr. Guma, our chairperson, is very comfortable with this. He's used it numerous times in the summer and the fall. So he's given me some suggestions on how to use this. So he definitely uses it. I'm using it for, I think, 5 exams or 5 lab experiments. And it's no extra cost for you guys. You would normally have to pay, I think, an extra like $18 or $20, but the college is actually going to pay for you. Yay! Okay, so you don't have to worry about that, but it does mean that you have an extra thing that you have to register for. Okay, so go to symbio.com, register online, and try and do that today. Like I said, Massasoit is going to be paying for this. I'll give you more direction in a little bit. Okay. All right, the course objectives and learning outcomes, that's on page 6 and 7 of your, I'm sorry, just page 6 of your, of the syllabus. Okay, so just read them on your own. It's pretty straightforward. Now, the course schedule, just some highlights. We're on page 7 now. Some highlights about that. I'm trying, like I said, to keep tests and quizzes, exams on Mondays and Thursdays. Okay, so we can keep those two and try to keep 6 to 9 o'clock as a block time. Will it go to 9 o'clock? No. Most of the time you'll be done by 8 o'clock. But try and get keep in mind that, your lab and lecture is going to be, on Mondays and Thursday evenings. Now there are, so there's going to be 5 lecture exams that are all proctored by me. There'll be Monday evenings, all right? You may begin between 6 and 7 o'clock on those designated Mondays. There are 2 exceptions. One, lecture exam 1 falls really on President's Day. Well, I don't, because it's a holiday, I don't know if people are doing anything that day, but I'm just saying I don't want, if banks are closed or the post office, I don't want to pick a day that maybe that's a long weekend for certain people, and I don't want it to be ruined because you have to take an exam on that day. So I'm going to change that particular day to Tuesday, and you would do that between 6 and 7. So that's the reason why I'm doing an exception for that day. The other exception is something I'll talk about later, is something called a bonus quiz. And you're going to have actually a 48-hour time frame that you could take that quiz anytime during that 48 hours. Okay. And it's because it's not proctored. And I'll talk about that later. Okay. There's 10 lab quizzes. And again, these will not be proctored. They're quick. I think they're, they're like 12 or 14 minutes. They need to take it. They'll be set for Thursday evenings. These quizzes will open at 6 o'clock, and you have until 8 o'clock for it to be completed. Now, keep in mind, when I say it closes at 8, if you start at, let's say, 7:58 and you're on question 3 and it's 8 o'clock, bam, it shuts down. You can't answer the rest of them. So do make sure that you are done, that you're going to be completed with everything by 8 o'clock. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, there are certain holidays, and again, I'm not going to give you tests or exams, quizzes, assignments to be due on any of these dates. And that includes President's Day, Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Patriots Day, and so forth, okay? So there'll be nothing really to. Can you hand in and can you submit something on those days? Absolutely, but I'm not going to use that as a due date, okay? So you can do things and submit things during those days, but exams and quizzes won't be occurring on those days, okay? And also keep in mind that we do have spring break between March 14th and March 20th. Nothing will need to be submitted, and obviously no exams during those weeks. But if you want to submit stuff during that week, absolutely, that's fine. There's nothing wrong, but I'm not going to set a date for that. And yes, if you ask me any questions during those times, I will be checking my emails, Canvas now, 2 to 3 times a day, every day, including Sundays and spring breaks and holidays and so forth. Okay, so I'm still working around the clock with you guys. All right, I'm not leaving you hanging. All right. All right, so the lecture and lab grade components, again, 75% is put towards lecture, 25% is towards lab. Okay. Here's the grades that Massasoit Community College has put forth for everything. I hold this right to the, if you have a 90, I'll round up. If you have a 91.6, that'll go up to 92. But if you have a 90.3 or 91.3, it's a 91. So I'm not, because there is going to be room for bonus points and so forth. That's with the bonus points. I can't give you extra points. I don't curve. I believe that you should work for your curve. I don't just add points. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what that is. All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about this mastering biology, the homework. All right. And we are now in page 9. Oh, one other thing before we get into that, about the course schedule. If you go to page 8, you will see all on one page, color coded, on what you're supposed to do for each week. And again, I'm using the dates on there as Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, right? So that's what's happening. January 18th, of course, it's Martin Luther King Day. So it's closed. But then all right, the 20th is a Wednesday. I realize that. But then it follows Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, unless February 16th, because it's that holiday. So the 16th is that Tuesday, you'll have that exam. So that's basically what we're going to be doing, and when you're doing the exams and the lab quizzes for that matter. Okay. I just want to bring you a point. If you actually go to, let's say, week 3, February 4th, you'll notice under the section of laboratory, it says lab quiz number 1. Lab quiz number 1 is the material for the week before, which is scientific measurements. That's what lab quiz is about. It is not about the water molecule. So on February 4th, you'll have a lab quiz number 1, and you're going to start our second lab experiment on the water molecule. That's what you're doing all for that day, February 4th. Does that make sense? Okay. And it follows suit for the rest of that. All right. So let's go back to my PowerPoint. And now I'm going to be talking about the homework Mastering Biology, which is on page 9. Okay. So there's 10 homework assignments. All right. I'm going to use HW as an abbreviation. There's 25 multiple choice questions per chapter. Okay. And that's what we're doing. There is one exception. Homework number 8 has 45 questions. That's the heavy material about glycolysis, photosynthesis, fermentation. And I'm going to combine 3 chapters into one block of 45 questions. Okay. So that's what that is over there. So you need to register today, and you need these 3 parts to register. Again, you're going to use your student email address. You don't want to use mamacita123@yahoo.com. Use your massasoit.mass.edu email address, okay, so that it's more on a professional level. You'll need the course code, which is that Gamaro 46335, and then the access code, which again should have been purchased with your textbook. If you don't buy the textbook, you got to buy it separately. And you could get that at the bookstore, but it's going to cost a little bit more if you don't get the book with it, okay? So just giving you a heads up about that. But you need those these parts. Once you're registered, you can start the homeworks. There's no time limit when you do it. The homeworks are relating to each lecture exam, and it must be completed by 8 o'clock the night before the exam. I know that's a mouthful. Let me give you an example. If lecture exam number 1 occurs on Tuesday, the 16th, then the 4 homeworks that is related to that exam number 1 must be submitted the day before, that Monday, by 8 p.m. so that you have 24 hours or so, just under 24 hours, to study everything. I don't want you to be so keyed up 3 hours before the exam. Oh, I got to finish up the homework. You need to spend some time really quality studying, okay? And don't get me wrong. I encourage you, don't wait till the last minute to hand these in. Don't, even though I'm saying you have until the night before the exam, you want to submit, let's say, these homework assignments, week by week. Do that. That's what I would do. You got to get more in a routine and don't wait till the last minute, okay? But that's what that is, all right? Refer to the syllabus as to what homeworks correlate to the exams. You'll see that on page 10, okay? When you see the bottom of page 10, you will see that for exam 1, there's the first 4 homework assignments. There are 25 questions for each of the assignments. Okay. And don't think that 25 questions would only take you 25 minutes. No way. Okay. 25 questions. You got to keep in mind, some of them have you watching videos that could be, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes. Some of them are interactive, where you're going to be dragging, let's say, labels and putting them on diagrams. Other things, you might have to read an article and then answer questions about it. So one homework assignment can easily take an hour, sometimes 2 hours to do. So don't think that this is going to be a short thing, okay? So don't wait to the last minute to do these. Just giving you a forewarning about that, okay? So the point distribution, 25% of your final grade is about this. When you put it all together, there's a total of 270 questions, okay, in these 10 homework assignments. The first 250 points will count towards your cumulative grade. But what happens to the other 20 points of the 270? That's bonus. So if you've answered, let's say, 255 questions and you got them all right, 5 points will be going towards bonus to help boost up your grade at the end, okay? Now, granted, if you end up with, let's say, 240 points, well, you're a little shy of your 250 and there's no bonus involved. Does that make sense? I'm hoping so, okay? So that's how we'll do the point distribution on there, okay? If you missed the due date, a 0 will count for that homework assignment. No exceptions. Okay, you've had enough time to do all these things. If you waited to the last minute, I don't know what to tell you. You just lose those points. Okay, I would not use smartphones and tablets to do this. All right, some of them, there's been talk from other students saying that it didn't work on certain things. Just don't use your smartphones on this. Okay, use only Firefox or Google Chrome. It's going to be the best thing. All right, I even believe that when you register and try to open up the Mastering Biology, it's going to tell you the technical requirements that you need. So it's things like that, all right? If you're still using Windows 8.1, it doesn't work. You got to use Windows 10. That's what I'm saying. They'll tell you all those requirements, okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the lab experiments and lab reports. There's going to be 10 lab experiments and there's going to be 10 lab reports for you to do. And the lab reports might just be a quiz form, so to say. The point distribution, it's going to vary with each lab reports. On average, they're going to be about 20 points, but some of them could be, let's say, 36 points. Other things could be, let's say, 12 points. The bottom line is that when you put it all together, all 10 lab reports will accumulate ultimately to 200 points, okay? And this is going to be 20% of your final grade. Again, treat Thursdays as our lab days. Labs will open on Canvas at 8 a.m. on Thursdays. So that's when that's the earliest time you can do that. Can you do it on Friday? Can you start it on Sunday? Absolutely. But if you want to, knock it off and do it earlier, you could start up as early as 8 o'clock on those Thursdays, okay? I'll send emails, like I said before, to help guide you what we're going to be starting and when it's going to open, to guide you a little bit about these experiments. The lab report is due at 12 o'clock on that following Thursday, all right? The lab quizzes are going to take part on that same Thursday night. Does that make sense? So you're going to be done with the lab. The reason why I'm doing this is I don't want people to not have time to study for these lab quizzes because you're too keyed up about doing the lab reports. And I know there is a chunk full of students that want to wait to the last minute. And I'm trying to discourage that by saying that the lab report is due at 12 o'clock. That gives you some freedom to study for the lab quizzes. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm doing that. So the experiment formats, they're on Canvas. And like I showed you, it could be some videos and answering questions. It could be Canvas and there's some written instructions and you got to use the lab kits to do that. Or we can use the Sim Bio, which I kind of explained to you. It's going to be interactive. There's going to be answering questions, and I'll show you that a little bit, all right? You're going to have to print out your lab reports, and those lab reports are going to be submitted in. Some labs will take longer. All right. For instance, lab 4, I'm going to split up. There's going to be one for diffusion and one for osmosis. So I'm going to have it, and keep in mind, there's a lab report for 4A and there's a lab report for 4B. You're not going to you're going to still do the same lab and submit it the following Thursday. You're not going to wait 2 weeks to submit both of them. Okay. We also have lab 5, which is on microscopy. That's going to be split on 3, but I'm going to have 1 week going to do A, and then week 2 of that lab, you'll have B and C to do. Okay. So it's going to be 3 parts over 2 weeks. All right. So you must complete and submit the lab report for each week. All right. And I'm going to give anyone a 0 if the lab report is not received by the following Thursday by 12 o'clock. There is no late things. All right. There's reason why we have deadlines so that things get done. So if you miss it, you had a whole week to do it. If you wait to the last minute and it is not submitted by 12 o'clock that following Thursday, that's it. You just lose that, whatever the points are. And like I said, sometimes it could be 15 points. Sometimes it could be 36 points. So whatever one you're missing, I don't give part credit or anything like that. You missed that due date. That's it. You're done with that. The entire lab report, you get a 0 for. Okay. So that's what that is. Now, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. All right. So a little bit about SymBio. All right. It's an internet software program that's interactive. There's some tutorials in there, workbook you can use. And I have 5 lab experiments that you'll utilize the SymBio. So if you look on page 11 of your syllabus, you'll see down there another chart. You guys love charts, don't you? But down there, you will see which ones use the SymBio. I'm also going to email you and tell you which ones are, but at least you could see on a bird's eye view which ones deal with SymBio, which ones deal with just Canvas, and there's one that you got to print and so forth. Okay, you'll see when it actually will open, and again, it's due on that time. All right, not 9 o'clock. I got to change that. It's 12 o'clock. So it's due on 12 o'clock p.m. Okay. Okay. So it's an internet program. Again, Massasoit is going to pay it for you. All right. Register today. Instructions and web links are in the syllabus on how to go about doing that. So I don't want to spend time doing that in the introduction. It gives you all that on there. It gives you the links to go to do all that. There is an access key that you're going to need. It's pretty long. There's no reason for me to pop that up here. You'll see it on there, on the syllabus. All right. Again, desktops and laptops are the only compatible devices when using SymBio. All right. Do not use your smartphones and tablets. Chromebooks, you cannot use either. I've been told with Dr. Guma that students were using Chromebook. You can't use Chromebooks. They are not compatible devices for this. It just won't work, okay? Again, only use Firefox or Google Chrome, and you must complete each SymBio experiment in one sitting. So it doesn't save your work. That's the other issue. My suggestion is when you start these SymBio things, try and do them give yourself like 2 hours to do it. Now, you can do this as many times as you want. So if you want to do it, let's say the first time and it's taking a little bit too long, you don't understand how to work this thing, you're using it this way, I put down some wrong answers, and then you want to do it again tomorrow, well, you have some idea what it is. So you could explore this and see, when you want to submit. So once you submit it, though, you submit it. So you could pick and choose as many times as you want so you get familiar with it. And there's some great tutorials. I picked these 5 because they really do show things very nicely. And they do correlate stuff that we're doing in lecture very nicely. So do them, all right? They're very important for you to do, okay? So again, it doesn't save your progress. You got to complete it in one lesson, but you can do it more than one time. And make sure you download your results and answer the questions. When you do that, you're going to be able to submit them, and I'll be able to get it from my end of SymBio. Okay, so make sure you do submit them.